Hello, thank you for coming by PosterCentral.com's video blog today. I'm Pete Howard, and it is an honor and a privilege to be holding a genuine original. Of course, every blog I shoot is a genuine original, but the most important poster in the history of country music. There will never be another one like it. There was never one before. This is the granddaddy of all country western concert posters. And of course, Hank Williams was a lot more than country. But still, if you pick that genre, one of American's backbone genres, of course, nothing can touch this. You got a Jimmy Rogers from the 1930s with a picture on it? Please show it to me. But this is, you know what this is. January 1st, 1953, the show that Hank did not make, that he died en route to. And the big news is, this is not a bootleg or an afterprint or a merchandising piece. This is the real McCoy in all capital letters. Just a total Smithsonian piece, and just a magical poster, and one of my favorite of all time. And country's not real high on my list of favorite formats, but just look at this poster. It's as real and as genuine as Hank Williams music. Just spectacular, absolutely wonderful. So this was printed, of course, the show January 1, printed and designed weeks before the event to sell tickets around the Canton, Ohio area. And it's not an after-the-fact, as I said, souvenir merchandise. In fact, let's get this out of the way right now, this bootleg stuff. This is the most common, alleged Hank Williams poster from the show he didn't make, Canton, Ohio. I do get calls about these all the time. Anything that says the good Lord willing and the creek don't rise, sorry, it's an after-the-fact merchandising piece made for many different occasions and so forth. But as you can see, this poster, it looks old, it's tan and faded and everything, and some of them are water-stained and everything. Sorry, they're all just merch pieces. And once again, you can, of course, feast your eyes on this and see what a difference there is. And this thing is just full of detailed information and everything. So this is definitely the one that was made, drawn up, perhaps, definitely the fall of 1952 and printed in the fall of 1952. So, the provenance of this is spectacular. It was found inside an old barn, inside the barn, I believe upstairs, in Canton, Ohio, decades before this video was shot. It does look like it. It's got condition issues, there's no question about it. Once again, a little bit, I'll get in closer as I talk about certain specifics, but it's got the water stain and some tears and some holes in it and things, and even some writing on it, but it looks old. And I personally, I've had something on my website for a long time about I would not restore this. It's, you sort of, I don't know, it's a personal preference really, this restoration thing, but I love it looking like this. And the writing on it's really interesting and really gives it some character, by the way. And admittedly, I will admit that it's probably debatable, the writing, but I want to show you what was written, and we have no idea by who or when. But first of all, by January 1 there, between the Jan and the 1, you can see in pencil is written 1952. And so, when was that done? Was it done by this person days, weeks, months, or years after the show? I don't know. And of course, 1952 is flat out wrong. It was 53 on the January 1, but we have to remember this poster is 98% a 1952 product. It was only good in 1953 for a few hours leading up to the 3 p.m. show. So, and we all write checks the first few weeks of a new year with the old year before on it. So, and then you've got right in here below in person, I will just come in on it and see if you can pick that up. And this person wrote in pencil, Hank died in rear car seat on way to do this show. Can you see that? And then to the left of Hank there, it says the show with an arrow pointing toward Hank. So the show, arrow, didn't make. A misspelled didn't on that with an extra E. So, I sort of pronounce it didn't. But, that's, if somebody had written on this Billy Loves Mary or something, then yeah, get it out of here, I guess. But that's, that's historic, right? It's as historic as the poster itself. Somebody literally could have come by, on New Year's Day 1953 and scribbled that on there, right? Although, actually, that's a good point. Did they know that he died in the back of the car on New Year's Day, or just that he died? So maybe it was, as I said, literally, few days, few weeks, few months, few years. We just don't know. It could have been done in the 60s, too. But, it's sort of like a hillbilly hayseed scribbling in pencil on the Hank poster, and I think it belongs there. I think it just adds to some of the charm and stuff like that. So it'll always be a mystery, of course, who wrote that on there. We'll never know. But, so those elements aside, the damage and the writing and stuff, I mean, this concert poster, I've always felt, absolutely has it all. I mean, let's go through the list. It's big, it's made of cardboard, so it's durable, it's got a great photo of Hank on it, it's got nice colors, right, red and yellow, it's got great wording all over the poster. I'll touch on some of that in a minute. It's got song titles, which you always like with an artist when there's song titles. It's got his record label, a nice bonus. It's got the year on it, but subtly, not by the, Jan 1, 1953. It's got the year in another place, and I love it when the year is given subtly. It's got opening acts that are in the Hall of Fame, never mind Hank. Opening acts in the Country Western Hall of Fame, Country Music Hall of Fame, I should say. It's got scarcity to it. It's got great detailed ticket information down at the bottom. And this huge historic angle. For heaven's sake, they even made a movie up in Canada in the early 80s about this show, not about a Hank Williams bio. And it aired on HBO that I mentioned down in the States. It was called The Show That Hank Didn't Make, I think. So, my goodness, I just rattled off 12 rock-solid attributes for this poster. Those aren't, some of those points stretched or anything. All 12 of those points are, it's just fabulous. Just a dozen rock-solid elements for this poster. And I guess I forgot the headliner, didn't I? Let's not forget the headliner. He's another one, call it a 13th, an absolute super legend, U.S. postage stamp artist. So, oh my goodness, this is just, I won't waste your time with who Hank Williams' music is influenced, but if you think he's just country, I mean, come on. I consider him half blues and half country, and I mean, come on, Bob Dylan, everybody else just reveres the guy. So, country was just the format he happened to perform in. Okay, so as promised, moving in for a little bit of a close-up, and I'll just touch on some of the key wording here. As you can see from the top there, big 2-hour stage show, and then Canton Memorial Auditorium, and then New Year's Day, Thursday, Jan 1 at 3 and 8:15 p.m. There you go. And then Hank Williams, Mr. Lovesick Blues. Woohoo! Love that wording. That's fabulous. Star of MGM Records and Films. Oh, love that wording. That's so nice. That's so cool. In the biggest jamboree of 1953. There's that subtle year I was talking about. And then you've got opening acts. There's Homer and Jethro. Gosh, they were Country Music Hall of Famers themselves. And under their name, there's like 16 laudatory words about them below their name, so that's always fun. And then you've got Hawkshaw Hawkins, and he's got 9 descriptive words below his name, and unfortunately Hawkshaw is known as having perished in the 1963 plane crash that took the life of Patsy Cline. And then there's several more acts below. Oh, let me stretch a little bit here. Several more acts there in black ink below that. You can make some of those out. And then tickets from $1.50 down to 60 cents. And the poster was made, it says at the very bottom there in the white margin, by Posters Inc. on Cherry Street in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. They've done a lot of posters over the years, always cardboard boxing style, so Posters Inc. And in case you're wondering and haven't looked it up yet, the show did go on, even with Hank not there. The show most certainly went on, because there were a lot of other acts here, but of course the tone for both shows was very somber. So, often in the hobby, I'm not so crazy about collecting concert posters if the show didn't happen, if it was canceled, or the headline, in this case, the headliner was canceled because he was obviously deceased, but I think that just adds to its cachet. It does not subtract from it whatsoever. So, what can you say? I think I said it at the opening, a Smithsonian piece. Come on, a total Country Music Hall of Fame poster, just like, permanent fixture in those museums is where it should be. But I'm very privileged, honored, happy, pleased, and tickled to be able to show you this poster today. Just gorgeous, gorgeous piece of concert advertising. I don't know how to close other than to say thanks for coming by, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.